way you know when my new videos are posted and you can watch along with me. It is totally free to subscribe, so hit that subscribe button and let's get this community built. I am so excited to see what God has in store for us, and I want to give you a little backstory, and that way you know why we will be awaiting with grace. I have been happily married now for 4 years, almost 4 years, and it'll be 4 years in September. We have been together for 5 years, this month actually, and we started trying in October of 2017, and we had no luck on our own for a year, and so we finally went to the doctor. If you have went through the infertility along with me, you also know that there is tons of testing that comes with this and tons of blood work and all that good stuff. So we went through all of the testing, and she finally found out, I have an amazing doctor, by the way, but she finally found out that I was not ovulating on my own. So we made the decision to start on Clomid. And I started on Clomid the beginning of December, and the month of December we did not get pregnant. So for our second round of Clomid, we went for January. And in January, we did get our positive pregnancy test, and we were over the moon excited. Could not believe that we finally, after 14 months, over 14 months, 15 months I guess, we finally had those 2 pink lines. Went to the doctor, had to do a new doctor because I could not afford the self-pay anymore with my amazing doctor. And I told them the backstory. I told them how important it was that I got in, and they refused to see me until I was at least 8 weeks pregnant. That was a huge blow because with Clomid, you do have a higher chance of miscarrying. And I prayed a lot, and we finally went to a doctor and went in for an ultrasound to find out there was no heartbeat. We had lost the baby at 6 weeks, and everything that we had hoped for came crashing down in that very moment, and it was very hard to hear. We said, you know what, we're going to focus the rest of this first year of our marriage on us, and we had tried so hard to get pregnant that first year, and it just wasn't happening. It wasn't in our cards. And so taking a break and figuring out us again was what felt right. So that is what we did. October of that same year, it was 2019, yes. We were like, okay, we're ready. We've taken time for ourselves. Let's go see our doctor again. And by this time, my husband had got a new job, so we had insurance, amazing insurance. And it was just, God was just making all these steps possible. And the amazing doctor that we went to for our Clomid round took our new insurance, and so I was able to go back to her, and I felt so at home with her and so comfortable, and I love her. She's still my doctor. October we decided, so my appointment to get back on fertility medicine was in November of 2019. Well, at the end of October of 2019, I was late. And so I was like, there's no way this is happening. I can't do it on my own. There's just no way. I don't even want to take another test and see another negative. Well, I went a couple more days, still not anything. And so one of my really good friends had told me, why don't you go ahead and test? And so I broke down and did that morning. Sure enough, I was pregnant. We had 2 pink lines, and I sat on my bathroom floor crying and thanking God, because we did this all on our own. We had no help. God did this. He helped us. My husband got home, and I had super cute, pregnancy announcement made, and we cried together and couldn't believe that, this was happening, and we were so thankful for this blessing. And I called my doctor immediately, and she got me in the very next day. Amazing. And she started running labs on me. We knew how crucial it was, and I also suffer from low progesterone, so that was something she had to put me on, so we made sure I didn't lose the baby. Got put on that, and she just monitored us while we went in for our 6-week checkup, and we heard the precious sound. We heard the heartbeat, and we both cried. It was still one of my favorite days. Everything seemed to be on track, and we got a due date for June of 2020, and we were on cloud 9. We had it planned to tell our family all together, and with my sister-in-law. She's been my best friend since I was a junior in high school. So she's been with me from everything. We've went through everything together. She actually went with me to my appointment because my husband could not take off to work to go. It's just supposed to be a glucose test. Well, my doctor was like, let's go peek in on this baby. And so I did my glucose test. We went into the ultrasound while the glucose test was waiting. And there was no heartbeat for that one. It's going to be a very raw video, and I'm going to apologize in advance. That one was very hard for me. First off, I didn't have my husband with me. I had to call and tell him over the phone. I had just heard that precious heartbeat 2 weeks before that. And it felt like the rug was ripped out from underneath me. I could not understand how could this even possibly happen. And this was 2 days before Thanksgiving that we were supposed to tell our family. And so our family did not know. My sister-in-law did, but none of our other family knew we were even pregnant. Very hard. I had to tell them we were pregnant and we had lost our second baby at the same time. And watching the hurt on their face was horrendous. My doctor let me do Thanksgiving with our family, and then the next morning was scheduled for my emergency D&C. And I went into surgery. It was hard. It was very, very hard. It's still hard. Once you hear that heartbeat, that's your baby. You know, it's alive in you. And knowing that just 2 weeks later, it's gone. But I prayed, and God got me through that one. That was only God. And through all of this, thankfully, it brought my husband and I so much closer. It totally changed our whole dynamic of our relationship. And once you go through that and you have that partner that is with you from every step of the way, it totally changes everything. It makes your relationship built stronger, especially if you can cling to God. That is my advice. If anybody is watching this and you're going through a miscarriage, cling to God. And cling to your husband. Cling to your wife. You know the pain. If you have a friend that has gone through this, be an outlet for them. Because you feel so alone, and it's a club that you never want to be in. You will need someone. So reach out. Hold on tight to your husband and wife. That is totally my advice. Let's fast forward a little bit. March of 2020. We found out again, completely on our own, that we were pregnant again. This one was a little different. I went to the doctor not knowing I was pregnant, but I was spotting when I was not supposed to be. So getting the news that we were expecting and I had a positive pregnancy test was scary, because I already knew I was spotting, and that's not good in your early weeks of pregnancy. My progesterone was super, super low on that one, and she started me on progesterone with knowing that this one might not make it either. A lot of prayer. This time we told our family right away. We agreed after our second one and having to go through that much pain, we would always be open from here on out with our family. We needed their support. I went in for a scan because my HCGs were rising, so she wanted to check on the baby. I went in for my scan, and there was no baby in my uterus at that point, which I knew right then what pregnancy I had. I was having an ectopic pregnancy. The baby was stuck in my left fallopian tube, and I did forget to mention this, but my left fallopian tube was my only tube that worked. My right fallopian tube produced absolutely no eggs, and it was my left fallopian tube that was working for both of them. So, with that said, we were scared to death because we knew that was my only working tube. She did chemo injections to get the baby to dissolve without my tube rupturing. The next morning, I woke up and I started sweating profusely, vomiting. It was bad. I was very sick. I called my doctor, and of course she told me, you need to get in right now. Your tube has ruptured. So we made an hour drive to my doctor. Thank God my husband made it in about 30 minutes. And my tube had ruptured. And I went in for emergency surgery, and ended up, I was bleeding to death. I lost well over a liter of blood, and my tube had ruptured from the bottom, so it looks like it just busted open. One of the scariest days of my life. Not only did we lose our third baby, but I was fighting for my life at this point. And thank God I have an amazing doctor. She saved my life. We knew the baby could not be saved. We already knew that. We knew we had lost our third baby. But I was saved, and she saved me. I did end up losing my left tube. We are hopeful that my right tube will start working. Right now, we aren't trying. I did get on birth control. I am very hopeful that God has it in store for us to have our own baby. If we don't have our baby, that God will provide it for us to be able to adopt. There are so many babies out there that need loving homes, and God doesn't have it in the plans for us to be able to hold our own babies here on earth. Hopefully we can give another baby a very loving home. Miscarriage, y'all, it's hard. It is so hard. Knowing that you carry that life in you, but yet you don't get to bring it home, and you don't get to have the first birthday, and you don't get to see it walk. You don't get to hear its first word. You don't get to watch it grow into this amazing human being that you created. You don't get to see it graduate, married. You don't get any of that. It is one of the hardest things you will go through, and that is my goal for this channel, is to not only bring you the cleaning and the decorating and all that good stuff. I want to be an outlet for women and for couples like me and my husband that we have lost babies, and it is hard, and you need that someone to help support you. And that is one of my absolute main goals, is to be here for you. And don't give up. Please don't give up. I wish I could sit here and tell you that I have a infant sleeping in the next room, but I can't. I can't tell you that. And I don't want you to feel like, because I can't tell you that we're giving up, because that is not it. We are very hopeful that one day we will be able to have our own, and don't ever give up that hope. But also know that there are other ways to be able to be a mom and a dad. And miscarriage and pregnancy loss and infant loss and infertility, it is all so very hard. And please know that I am praying for you, and I hope that one day you can know that those babies are sitting on the lap of Jesus. And one of the things that has gotten me through the most, that our babies woke up and the first thing that they saw was Jesus' face. How much I would love for it to be mine, but how amazing is it that they get to see Jesus? I hope and pray that if you have also suffered a miscarriage, I hope that you find strength today, and know that it is okay to feel every single feeling that you feel. I love you guys, and I hope that this video can bring you comfort. And we are in our waiting time, but we are awaiting with grace. And one day I know that God, no matter how it happens, God will let me hold that baby in my arms. I hope that you guys found this video helpful, and if you did, subscribe. I will hopefully be doing cleaning and decorating and cooking and talking about infertility. If you have questions, I hope one day we can do a Q&A. I have so many plans for this channel, and I really hope that you guys find it in your hearts to subscribe. And let's do this journey together. Bye, guys.